Namaste. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
I can hear you. We
Okay.
can hear you.
This session is mainly for the group Become Successful Professional Astrologer, which we call as BSPA. So only these students are allowed to interact in the class. The others can listen, but when the turn comes, we will invite others to also contribute their points. Okay, this is mainly for BSPA students. They're all senior students. We call them level 3. And Mano Chakravarti will be taking care of the meeting. Okay, so what I'll do now, I'll tell you the background. I hope all of you can see the horoscope. This session is being recorded and it will be uploaded on, as usual, on patreon.com. The clue I can offer is that the horoscope, basically I'll not be able to share all the details about the birth, but I'll let you know it is a female, a lady's chart. And we are trying to locate what the problem is, whether it is health or career or marriage or children, whatever is the main concern of this person. So those of you who are able to see certain things, please contribute by typing out in the chat section. Okay, this is the background. So in the beginning for the discussion, we request only the BSPA students of patreon.com/ekdk to participate in the discussion, trying to find out what it is. Halfway through, we will invite others also to say a few words about the chart.
This chart is a clear indication for failure of marriage.
Marriage problem.
Marriage problem, okay.
Because
okay,
the seventh lord has gone to the sixth. Even in Bhava chart, it will be still in the sixth. And sun in the seventh itself is a Kalatra dosha. And the thing is, again, the Lagna lord and the fourth lord, which is the house of comfort and the physical attribute, that also has gone to the sixth house and getting connected with the sixth lord. But though the difference of degrees is pretty high, but still it has its own impact.
Any other BSPA student wants to say something? Look at all possibilities. And if you want other charts, for example, this is the, in case you want to know what dasha the person is going through. It's here.
Another indication is also that Dharakaraka has gone to the sixth.
Okay. What is the Dharakaraka here?
Jupiter, sir.
Jupiter. Okay. Is Manoj the only BSPA student here? Anyone else?
We have few more, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
Guruji. Gurubhya Nama, Guruji.
Hari Om.
So there are a few problems in the chart where I can see the 8th lord is in the 11th, not in a good state. The most important affliction I see is in the Rahu Ketu axis of 3-9. And something similar, actually, just half an hour back, I was seeing from one of my students' chart, the chess student, and there was an affliction in that person. So I was very curious to see, and some similar thing is seen here, Guruji, and almost similar. So
what is the problem there?
There, it was a severe case of autism. So, speech. The person is very intelligent. He's got some good placement of grahas, but the third house placement, third house afflictions with Mars and Rahu, and in the 9th house of Ketu, Ketu in the 9th house. So I have a feeling that this person's speech may be a bit erratic. There may be a problem with the speech, the way he speaks. That could be a problem area. And the affliction of the Lagna with Saturn and Jupiter in the 6th house again points to that. Seventh Lord and 10th Lord, Mercury in the sixth. Mercury, once again, the sign of inner intelligence, is also the only thing I can see good is Venus in own sign. So I reserve my judgment till I see the other charts.
Okay.
Sir, can we go to the starting dasha for this person, sir?
Well, you want to check if it is possible health also, right?
Yeah, time of birth.
Okay. Starting. Okay. In that case, I'll start like this. Started life with. Okay. Easiest way to know what could be the first dasha is looking at the moon. And since you know moon is
In Swati, sir.
in Swati, therefore the first dasha should only be Rahu, right?
I wanted to know the Antardasha, sir. What Antardasha?
Antardashas. Okay. Okay.
You'll have to click the level, sir.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
So it's Rahu Venus.
Yeah. Life started in Rahu Venus.
Sir, this also indicates issues at the time of birth also, sir.
Yes, sir.
What happened?
Birth in the
It
dasha
also
of
indicates
sixth
birth
lord.
time defects also.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, this is a possibility. Like whenever the birth is in the Rahu dasha and Antardasha of Venus, which is a sixth lord. One of the indication of issues at the birth, there could be a defect or some genetical issues or anything like that. Next is the fifth lord is in the Rahu Ketu axis, and as like already typed in the chart, there's a issues with the seventh house area, marriage and
Okay.
belief in the marriage. All this. Sun in the seventh, especially for the
Yes, if you take that in that aspect, sir, Saturn is aspecting the seventh house completely. And the other thing is Mars is having the fourth aspect on the seventh lord, and the degree between the seventh lord and the Mars, it's hardly 2 degrees difference.
Okay.
and Rahu degree and seventh lord degree, like it's almost same.
What about children? And then one more topic, right? Career. Health, I think we touched upon. Marriage was what I think came up immediately, right? As soon as we put the chart. Then what are the other major aspects? Okay, this horoscope is taken from the folder called Volunteer Case Studies, where people offer their horoscope for research by students. Okay, so they just want to learn how it could have been, how generally astrologers could have approached this horoscope. The person is also interested in joining the course, the beginner's course. So spend some time. I'll be back in 10 minutes. Okay. Manoj, you are having Sri Jyoti, right? If you want. Okay. The screen is enough, right?
The screen is perfect, sir. But I think so. There are other people who join from North India, like Sandeep Tyagi, So for them, the North Indian chart would be much convenient.
Yeah. But I have, okay, to begin with, I'll stay here.
Page you had a North Indian chart, sir. Yeah.
Which one?
This is fine, sir.
This is fine, right? So this is just to start with, to find the weakest spot. What is the major trouble for this person? Is it health? Is it children? Is it career, marriage, or anything else that comes to your mind? As usual, we are looking for the maximum stack up to find which might be the weakest spot, which sphere of life is the most affected one. And the person is also looking for counseling, remedies, and whatever to make life better. Okay, so just spend some 10 minutes, I'll be back. So students, any conclusion has been drawn? Ashwat wants to speak.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
not gone to any conclusion, people were on mute, but I'll just take a couple of minutes, sir. I'll start with the step, like stage by stage. The very first thing I would like to tell is this person. The first thing is that Lagna Lord has gone to sixth. And also, I already told the first thing is about the health. The next thing is fifth house. Fifth lord is in the Rahu Ketu axis. All the fifth house factor, maybe there is a fear issue about maybe taking decision, anything related, all the karakas related to fifth house. There may be a trouble with that. The next stage would be the seventh house matter. Like seventh lord has gone to six, and also there is a sun in seventh house. It's all like this person may be stubborn and may not listen to others. It's not easy to convince this person. It's a pride issue actually. There may be a pride issue.
Okay. You're able to talk, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I have also on the left corner, you can see the equalos.
Bhavaj.
Yes. Sorry. The equalos. Yeah, I forgot I was on mute. So you have the house chart, equalos, left-hand side bottom corner, you can see that. Rashi chart is there, and then you have Navamsha. In fact, if some of you are using Karakamsha Lagna, Karakamsha Lagna is in Mithuna. That's why you see the houses numbered as 1 from Mithuna because of that. So now students, outside students, that is outside of BSPA group, can also participate in the discussion by raising your hands. Manoj, is everybody on forced mute? Okay, Dhruv wants to say something.
Sir, I wanted to actually I agree with the previous speaker, sir, because right at the start of his life he got Rahu Dasha, and
Okay.
Rahu sir will give the results of Saturn, and it's also in the nakshatra of Jupiter. So Saturn and Jupiter form a Rishta yoga, sir, because Jupiter goes to the sixth house and it's afflicted by Mars, and Saturn is in the Lagna. And sir,
Okay.
after that, Saturn period comes. After that, Jupiter comes and Saturn comes. All these three periods generate a risk, sir. So I think
Okay.
health is a prime issue for this person, in my opinion.
Okay. We'll wait before concluding. And meanwhile, I encourage students to type out your views on the chart using the chat, because when I upload the video, even the chat, all that will also be part of the video. So other students can see what was your opinion. So whenever not speaking, and if you still want to contribute, you can use this option. Okay. So I'll keep changing the chart so that in case you want something else. Anybody else wants to say something?
Yes,
this is the chart. Yes. Yes, Kishore.
Yes. So I see a problem in the education of the native. Can we confirm if the education was actually a problem area for this native?
I think it'll take time for me. Maybe I'll ask. I think education was normal. Yes.
Sir, is he having like obesity problems?
Which one?
Obesity.
obesity. Okay, before you, when you say obesity, I mean, whenever you say something, I encourage students to say what is the basis for the assumption or the statement.
I have seen for Sagittarius ascendant, sir, like if Jupiter is in sixth house, most of the times either they are having issues with overweight or obesity.
Okay.
That is the reason I asked.
Just from a single fact that the ascendant is in Sagittarius.
It's because that ascendant is being Jupiter.
Oh, okay, but not that it is connected to Jupiter being in sixth house.
No, sir.
It's just because the ascendant. So if you use a rule like that, 1/12 of the world's population will be obese, which is a huge number, right? You need one more parameter, one more reason. Otherwise, it will become too vague and general, because if you use a single line rule like that, especially like moon based or lagna based, just one line, the reason being a person is born in a lagna makes him like that. It's almost like sun sign reading. Okay, not enough.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah.
Sir, hello.
Yes.
Sir, it's a kids issue because like from the moon sign, the fifth house is having Rahu and Mars, and
Okay.
which is very close together from the moon sign, sir. And also from the Rashi chart, the fifth lord is also closely conjunct with Rahu. So I feel it's a marriage problem due to kids, of not having kids.
Guruji, can we see the Ashtakvarga score?
I request all those who are not speaking to be on mute. Otherwise, I'll have to force mute everybody and then release them one by one. Okay, I'll do that. Yes. Because of the noise one person was creating, I have force muted all of you. So now, who was speaking last? Who wants to speak? Just raise your hand. Who was speaking last? The student? Aarti was speaking? Okay. Yes. Aarti, you can now speak.
Sir, I was saying, I think it is a kids issue because
Okay.
from the moon sign, in the fifth house we are having Mars and Rahu, and they are very close together.
Okay.
And from the Mars chart, also the fifth house is having Ketu. So
From
I
Lagna.
feel it's
From
not-
Lagna.
From Lagna, yeah, from Lagna in the D9 chart in the
Oh,
fifth house we are
D9.
having Ketu.
Oh, okay. D9. Okay.
And also, yes, sir. And also from in D1 from the moon sign, we are having Mars and Rahu in the fifth house.
Okay.
So like having 1 in 1/7 axis, we are having Saturn and Sun. So it's clearly showing that we are having some issues in the marriage, and maybe because of the kids, they are having some issues in the marriage.
You're saying there is a problem in marriage, but it is centered around children.
Kids.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, before, because I think some of you joined late, this horoscope belongs to a girl, I mean a lady, okay? A female chart. So, yes, Sridevi, I think you want to say something? Please raise your hand and then I'll unmute. Because the moment you raise your hand, you come on the top. So it's easy for me to locate amongst 40 students. I'm 39 students as of now. Okay. Sridevi wants to say something. Yes.
Sir, it is problem with opposite sex, sir. Since you have already mentioned it is a female chart. So problem with male person. Regardless of a spouse or whoever it is, mostly like it is male. And
Okay, the prime enemy, the opposite person in life is a male, you're saying. Okay.
yes, sir.
And what is the basis? And what is the basis for that statement?
Sun in seventh house, sir. And it is very close to ascendant degree. And that is repeated even in D9.
Okay. there are beginners also in this discussion. Okay, so can you say why you are saying male is the problem? From the planetary reasoning, what is the connection to male?
Connection to male is Sun in 7th house, sir.
Okay. Oh, you're saying Sun is a male planet.
Right, sir.
Okay. Or is it because this person is a female and therefore the 7th house is the opposite, and in the opposite there is a positive?
Actually, the second one is right, sir. Like even if it is a male chart, a Sun in 7th house represents they do not respect the opposite sex person. I mean, if it is a male, they do not respect female.
Okay. The source for this rule is from which book?
It is from Brigasutram, sir.
Brigasutram, Sun in the 7th. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay. Now we'll ask Bharat to unmute. Yes, Bharat.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste.
I can read that there might have been a second marriage for this person, sir. So that is, marriage is definitely an area afflicted. I can see there are chances, or there might have been a second marriage already for this.
Now, for all that you said, can you substantiate with astrological combinations?
For marriage, 7th house, it's not just Sun in 7th house. Sun itself in 7th house can cause delay and can lead to this. But also Sun is the 9th lord. 9th lord in 7th house, 9 in our, it is also said that 7th house, if it is first spouse, 9th lord will become, 9th house will become the second spouse. I mean, for those where that 9 is very stronger than 7. Even if you look at the Bhava also, 9th house is more powerful than the 7th. 7 is very afflicted, no doubt. And 9 is stronger. So there are chances that this can have a second marriage because of that. In addition to that, the 7th lord, Mercury, it has gone to 6th house. That is a further affliction. So that is there. And the natural karaka for a female, for the spouse in a female chart is Jupiter. That Jupiter is also in 6th house. So again, that is afflicted. So for these reasons, and if you look at Navamsha, it adds to that. Navamsha also, Sun is in that 7th house, and Sun and Jupiter both are in 7th house, where the Jupiter, is like a 6th lord in Navamsha chart, come to the 7th house. And so for these reasons, I'm thinking in that direction, Guru.
Good. Okay. So I want students to actually, when you make a statement, try to connect to the planetary positions. There should be astrological reasons for any statement. Dhruv wants to say something.
Sir, I just wanted to draw everyone's attention, sir. And I said previously that there is Arish, sir, but there is some degree of Arish cancellation also, sir, because all the benefits are in the 6th house.
Okay.
So
what does that translate to?
And sir, it translates to that there will be health problems, but there will be, the person will find a way to overcome the health problems also, sir.
Which means it won't be of serious nature, right?
Sir, it could be of serious nature, but with right medication and with right doctor support, with right spiritual practices, the person will find a way to overcome it, sir. That's the point which I'm trying to make. And sir, like it's like the people are also telling, sir, that 7th lord is in the 12th, is in the 6th house, which is true. I agree that there is some degree of problems in marriage. But sir, I also think that there are two benefits also, Jupiter and Venus with the 7th lord. So that might, sir, that might benefit the person in terms of the problems which the seventh lord being in sixth creates.
Okay. Okay, now what I'll do, because we have spent some sufficient time, I'm going to tell you what is a major problem for which the person asked for a collective reading like this. This video will be available to the person. So whatever is the main issue, I'll give all of you 30 seconds to type out just one word or two words. This is the main problem. Okay. I'll wait for 30 seconds. For all of you can type out the problem using the chat. Then I will tell you what is the problem, and then we'll once again go back to students who actually hinted at this. Okay. "30 seconds or 1 minute maximum." Has everybody typed out? So the main question the person had is the divorce that has happened, is it karmic in nature? Is it astrological in nature? That is the main reason. And is there a second marriage? Okay. And I should be even, she even asked whether I should consider second marriage. If there are too many faults, I'll stay alone. Or, okay, there are some faults which you can rectify by doing such and such, remedies, and hope for the best, maybe horoscope matching, and then try to find a person with whom you're more compatible, which can go to a good extent, to a large extent can offset the weaknesses in this chart. Now, the answer is already available. So now it is for us to substantiate. Okay. A simple way to start any horoscope reading is to look out for this method works almost all the time. Always look out for planets placed in 6, 8, and 12. At least you get more consistent result if you start with this approach. And I think in the beginning, somebody did say about the things happening in the sixth house, because the sixth house is the house of major problems in life, because disease, deaths, and enemies are the only three things that trouble us. And it is in a bad axis from Lagna, which is our beginning. And therefore, sixth house is definitely a minus. And another important astronomical nature of the sixth house is just set on the western horizon. As against Lagna, which is rising, the sixth house is setting. So for all the dushtanas, the sixth house could be the place where we should look out for, in case you want to find out where are the major problems in a horoscope. So what do you see in sixth house? I'll change the screen, because if you want degrees, you can use this chart. So I think Manoj Chakravarti, the moment I showed the chart, I think immediately he said something, right? So is Manoj here still? Yeah, he's here. So Manoj, what was your, as soon as you saw the chart, what was your statement? You're there? Why not there? Okay. Okay, I think most of you got it right, right? You were talking about marriage, most of you. Now raise your hand if you want to substantiate it was a short-lived marriage and a very troublesome marriage. Also, in research, whenever you make a statement, it should not be your personal opinion. according to me. I have seen something. Such statements should be avoided as much as possible if you want consistent results. So as soon as the chart was shown, Manu Chakravarti hinted at marriage trouble, and then it got diverted by other students to different areas. So now we'll ask Sridevi to say something about it.
Sir, like I have mentioned earlier, Sun in 7th house, direct opposite to the ascendant. That is like definitely issues with spouse, mainly due to the ego issues because of Sun. And again, it is based off of, yes, sir.
Is that the biggest rule in when it comes to divorce?
No, sir. It is like 7th Lord in 6th house. That is my next statement.
Okay.
Seventh Lord is in 6th house, like which is like it is Kalatra Shoka, sir.
Okay. What else? If you want to add more parameters to it.
Yes, sir. Like in D9 chart also, 7th house occupied by Sun and debilitated Jupiter, like which is 6th Lord in 7th house debilitated, and 7th Lord is like in 12th house afflicted by Rahu.
Seventh Lord is it?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
Okay.
In D9.
You want to see D9 because some people wanted the North Indian chart as well, so I had to come here. Maybe next time I should create separately for North Indian chart, but our classes are always in South Indian, using South Indian chart. Okay. If you go by single rules, we may not be able to actually do justice to astrology. You got to relate some more to something being said. So if you just focus on okay, we'll give a chance to someone else. V.K. Varman. Yes.
So yes, Guruji, apart from the points which were already discussed, like 7th Lord and 6th, and the Sun in the 7th on its own, in Navamsha, the Lagna Lord itself goes to the 8th house. And again, in Upapada Lagna, the Mars and Ragu, two malefics in that. And the 2nd house also happens to be a dual sign. So all these, and in Ashtaka Varga score, the 7th house is 18 points, just above the minimum 17. And also most importantly, the 7th Lord Mercury and Jupiter, the Lagna Lord, both are extremely low on Shadbala score, below 100.
Okay.
And especially
this one, I can see the Shadbala. The 7th Lord is the weakest graha.
Yeah, weakest. So,
Mercury is the weakest. The marriage planet is the weakest.
Weakest, yeah.
Okay.
So all these are like stack up and which adds up to that. So
I'll tell you why the stack up is so important. Okay. It's like try wrestling with one person and then try with 2 people at the same time. Try with 3 people at the same time. Then you'll know what is the power of numbers. You have to actually do this once to know what is the power of the stack up in astrology. So to begin with, the 6th house is detrimental to the 7th, right? Because it is the 12th from the 7th. Okay.
So Guruji, I just wanted to clarify if this person was a love marriage or
Not sure. I didn't note it down.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, yeah. So the moment you see the Lagna Lord in the sixth, it is something you focus on that house first.
Yeah.
And then what you do?
So here, instead of battling diseases, she's battling enemies, and the enemies being a spouse in this case. So.
Exactly. Yeah. It was a very bad experience, and the person is thoroughly shaken up, and now there is a confusion whether to risk it again. So that is the main topic. I mean, the main question. So what you must have done is, I'll change the chart to this one, because you have degrees here, and you also have the divisional chart. See, one is, always ask the question, how many people in this world will have seventh lord in the sixth? Because the seventh lord has to go to one of the 12 houses. So it will be 1/12 of the world population will have seventh lord in the sixth. But if you say, how many of us have the seventh lord in the sixth along with the sixth lord? Because the sixth is the main house of divorce. Now that will be how much? Anyone can type out in the chat? That is, you must have the seventh lord. Somebody has to have the seventh lord in the sixth along with the sixth lord. Now the chances will reduce. It will be how much? In the chat, you can type out what are the possibilities for that.
So anyways, Guruji, I just wanted to sign off by saying she has good chances of finding a partner again in Saturn Rahu Dasa.
In Saturn Dasha Rahu Bhukti.
Rahu Bhukti.
Okay. Thank you, Varman. So Kishore says 1 out of 144. Okay. And what are the chances when this is happening, the Lagna Lord also to be in the house of divorce? Okay. Then there is another way of looking at it. If you look at D9 chart, you see that Jupiter, the Lagna Lord that went to the sixth house, subjecting her to disease, deaths, and enemies. In this case, we'll have to take the relevant matter, enemy, as the man who's troubling her. That particular graha in D9 chart has gone for debilitation. It's debilitated in D9. And there's another chart which shows you if you look at the Karaka, the Atma Karaka in this horoscope, which is the Atma Karaka? Mars. Okay, so search for Mars. Where is Mars in Navamsha? It is in Mithuna. Therefore, the Karakamsha Lagna becomes Mithuna. From Mithuna, the Lord of the seventh is in the 12th. Okay. Now, when a divorce happens and then you have a child, this person has one child, that actually adds up to the problem, right? If one is childless and then the divorce happens, then you can make a easier start, restart. But now you have to find somebody who will accept your child as well. So, as pointed out to some students in the beginning, they notice some fifth house problem because the Lord of the fifth is on the axis of Rahu, very close. Mars is at 26 degrees and Rahu is at 24 degrees. Same thing in the Rashi chart, Venus at 21 and Mercury at 24. These are something rarer actually. Okay. I now see Deepak Kumar has typed out Upapada Lagna has Mars, Rahu, Ketu axis. Correct. Saturn aspecting. Okay, we'll ignore the Saturn aspect, but at least it is afflicted straight away. But Maharishi Parashara and Maharishi Jaimini say that if the second Upapada has a double-bodied sign, there is always a chance for another marriage. But then the question is it safe? can have multiple marriages, but not necessarily a successful marriage. Okay. I've already consulted for this person, but the person wants to know if all this is so easy to say. That's why it is done. I hope you, some of you got it right, and congratulations to all those people who at least found out what is the main issue. Okay. So while the seventh lord goes to the sixth, disappears, because sixth house is called disappearing. So the marriage disappears along with the disappearing planet, the lord of disappearing, which is Mercury, which is Venus. Then if you add pressure on the seventh house, you have a sun in the seventh, which most people got, problem through the opposite. And then Saturn and sun on a mutual aspect on. So there is like a big problem happening on 1-7 axis. Okay. So just focus on this. The next time you see a chart like this, you should be able to quickly zoom in instead of looking out elsewhere. Suppose you start stacking up on health, you won't be able to find out so much. But marriage alone, you will be able to say a lot about marriage. Okay, fine. So we'll be ending the discussion here. Raise your hands if you got it right. Right, we have a guest, Sandeep.
Sir.
Yes, Sandeep.
In fact, I was looking at it from a very simple perspective of seeing. So you have Sun, a Krura Graha in the seventh, aspected by Saturn. So there are two malefics onto the seventh house. The Lord goes to a negative bhava, which is the sixth, is with the sixth Lord. So it's like being in a bad place with the Lord of the bad place sitting right there.
Okay.
Mars aspecting the seventh Lord. Then if we rotate the chart and see from the Chandra Lagna, again, the Lord is Mars in Rahu Ketu axis. So again, gets a spoiling nature. Saturn again aspects Mars. So, I mean, from Chandra Lagna and basic Lagna, we have a repetition to the problems of the seventh bhava.
Okay.
And they don't seem to go away. So I'm not very sure if, like you said, whether it is karmic. And pretty much, I think the Saturn-Sun opposition on the 1-7 is quite a karmic indicator of bad karma related to the seventh house in this life.
Okay, malefics on 1-7, and then the seventh lord going to the sixth along with Lagna lord.
Aspected by Mars.
Mars, okay. Mars is added to the problem. Okay.
And I think that's where the physical, that whole physical violence, the Lord of seventh in the house of conflicts with Mars aspect onto it, kind of may bring violence into that relationship.
Good.
And then from Chandra Lagna, the whole patterning repeats again. So kind of indicating some amount of Dhrida karma in this area.
So the person is not letting her go. You see that? So because there is a sun now, and the custody of the sun, and then continue to harass the person and so on. See, when you look at the main feature of this chart is that when you say I is the Lagna Lord, Jupiter, and my spouse is the seventh. Me and my spouse together in the sixth house, right? Along with the sixth lord. So this alone is enough to say this must be the weakest point. But as you said, Saturn-Sun opposition, they are actually mutual enemies. And one of them is Bhagya. And for a lady, the ninth house is a very big matter because a lot of luck. It's, luck based. Like marriage is a luck based. You need a lot of punya to have a happy marriage. So a lot of ninth in trouble with Saturn. Okay, that also. Then I think you covered so many points. Very good. Congratulations. Are we done? So next week, Friday, we will meet again with another chart. Usually, these charts are given sometimes, not always, given by the client to know how is it all already stated in the books? Is it astrology or are we making it up? So the only way to prove that we are not making it up is to refer to ancient textbooks. And you get clues. And using the logics of astrology, if you can explain, then it proves that this is all from karma. And that reinforces the idea that we should be very careful with what we do in life, because our next life is getting prepared right now. Okay, what we are going to experience in the next life is what we're going to create now. So astrology makes, confirms karma theory. And if you really have to confirm this, then you'll have to fall back onto astrological rules that prove a point. Like, look at it, when Maharishi and Parashara and Jaimini together said, if malefics occupy the Upapada Lagna, then marriage is in trouble. So you have a Mars Rahu on Upapada Lagna. And you got a lot more clues actually. If you go through various charts, you can find out. Even in D9 chart, you can see certain things happening. But one important idea that we all can use is, somewhere in the beginning, somebody said Jupiter is the Dara Karaka. Okay, the marriage planet, according to the Charakaraka scheme. And that planet is already in the 6th house of trouble. That same Dara Karaka in D9 chart of marriage is debilitated. Okay, so these are the clues you get. Putra dosha is confirmed. I think some students mentioned that. Even in Namamsha, the 5th house has Ketu, the Lord of the 5th has gone to 12th house. So I think Sri Devi or Pavni said, I think somebody. Okay. So this is the D7 chart. Can you say anything in D7? Those who want to speak can unmute themselves and speak.
So is she running the Saturn Dasha now, or has moved into Mercury?
Yeah, I will tell you. It is Saturn.
The 5th Lord from Rashi is in the 8th house over here, sir. The 7th house. Oh, sorry.
5th Lord is in the 7th, right?
Yeah, sorry.
No, but a very simple idea in every divisional chart is, whenever the Lagna Lord goes to the 12th in a divisional chart, that matter is weakened. Simple rule. The Lagna Lord is of paramount importance to the Lagna, and the Lagna Lord is the most important point in a divisional chart. So you see here that it is in the 12th. Then you can add that Rahu and Ketu is afflicting it. Okay, so that one single point is enough.
Only 12th, sir, or Lagna Lord in 8th and 6th also in any divisional chart?
12th is the most challenging one in divisional charts, more than even 6 and 8. But of course,
sir, Sir, in 2028, Mercury Dasha is starting. So even if he or she gets married, that Mercury Dasha is going to activate that 7th Lord in the 6th house with the 6th Lord themes.
So what is the conclusion?
So what I'm saying is 2028, the next dasha of Mercury is not good for relationships. And if you look at the bottom, sir, to add some confluence in the Charadasha, at the same time, when in the year 2028-29, Gemini Dasha, 7th house is ending. And it is the Taurus, which is the 6th house is starting. And the Taurus Dasha is there for 12 years. So Vimshotri and Charadasha are both activating 6th house matters from 2028 onwards.
Are you suggesting that's unsafe to try a second marriage?
Especially after 28-29, 6th house is strongly getting in Charadasha from 29 to 12 years of 6th house activation. And in Vimshotri from 2028 to 17 years of 6th house activation. So that does not look so good, sir.
Okay. For those of you who are new to Charadasha, you can see Taurus goes on for a long time, right? It covers a major portion from the age
and it starts exactly while Mercury is starting, almost on the same
parallel.
time.
Okay.
Parallelly.
If you use confluence, then Mercury is already in Taurus, so that will add to the problem. See, the question is,
I think I have a slightly, different view on that, because Taurus has the DK and Venus both, which are indicators of marriage. It has all the Raj Yogas. It has the Venus Moon Raj Yoga, Amatya Karaka, DK, AMK. So I think the whole Taurus Dasha looks far better from a Chara point of view. And in the
is it you're using it to time the marriage, or are you saying the quality of marriage?
I'm saying from an overall perspective, both from a timing perspective, and Taurus indicates that there is a relationship.
Okay. And
in the D9, we have Taurus. It's the 11th house with the 7th lord, right? Saturn becomes the 7th lord of D9, aspected by Venus. So again, D9 also Taurus shows that possibly there is both. There is going to be some relief to her. Because at this stage, like you said, sir, that for someone who's at this age, India's context, Desh Kal Patra, and having a child, possibly under a child custody battle, if she runs a Raj Yoga Dasha, then things will turn out positive, I think. So she may get married to someone who may bring a lot of relief in her life.
So marriage or not, I think she will come across a partner in Saturn Ragu Dasha. So what is your opinion, Guruji? What did you recommend the clients? Or did you?
You see, I always insist that you must look into the horoscope of the man to make sure you get support from that chart. So I also asked her to perform help in marriage of other people, poor people, Kanyadan, and suggested Vishnu Sahasranama for Mercury, and so on. But I believe that horoscope matching can help a lot. But if horoscope matching is not done and then she marries again, I was of the opinion, like Vinod said, that's really, I'm of the opinion that even a second marriage will run into trouble. Of course, Sandeep,
we are waiting for your marriage matching course, sir. When are you going to offer it?
No, in marriage, in horoscope matching, there is more than horoscope matching itself. It is more about that person's horoscope. The problem is, once a divorce happens, then and that too you have a child, the chances of unmarried person marrying you is very low, and then you have to get married to a married person who's divorced. So if divorce is there in the man's chart, there must have been some weakness in the marriage. So it makes it very difficult to find a matching spouse. The problem with timing marriage versus quality of marriage is this person got married, right? So if you use astrological in a reasoning, we can find out why she got married in that dasha and antardasha. But then what happens to the marriage? That portion is not addressed to when we do timing of marriage. That's a big minus in astrology or with astrologers. So at that point, you're only worried about is the double transit showing marriage? Is the dasha antardasha pointing to marriage? But we are not discussing what will happen to the marriage. Now, for a person having this kind of affliction, it is always tending to be bad. Especially in this horoscope, Saturn has become the GK planet, and that is sitting in Lagna. In astrology, in Jaimini Sutra, the GK is almost like trouble. So that looking at the seventh house, even Jaimini aspect, is still giving a lot of warnings. The very fact that the ex-husband is not letting her go, freely, on a day-to-day basis, still troubling her, itself is proof of that. So in this situation, should we recommend a second marriage straight away, or should we suggest, can you remain alone? So that is the question.
Sir, how about living in without marriage? Will it be considered as marriage?
Yeah, it is also another type of marriage these days, right? There's so much of commitment, and I don't know how the court looks at it, or the law looks at it, but I still feel as far as the souls are concerned, it is still like marriage only, even if you have a live-in. How
because
different?
the sixth house will not get activated, no sir, because there is no legal bond there. Then maybe sixth house will not get activated because there is no legally, you don't have to break it. Then it could sustain.
Well, those are gray areas in astrology. We don't have any firm answers for such questions.
Sir, legal and everything is an external thing. So everything is, it's person perspective. Everything is within person.
What you're saying is live-in or legal marriage is still the same.
Yes, because it's a person's perspective and his karma. Those are all just external influence and the Kaladesha Patra thing. But primarily, it's about that particular person. Horoscope is all about that person.
Correct. For that person, if there is no legal activation issues, then the sixth house will not get activated because sixth house is more related to legal breakage. And for that person, if they are in a live-in, then there are no legal issues, then the sixth house might have less impact.
Sir, to add to what just the other person said, sorry, I don't know the name. Lagna Lord itself is in sixth house of fighting, and the 12th Lord is afflicted with Rahu, which is like sharing of bed, regardless of either she remarries or stays without the marriage, she will be still having problems.
But to add to that, if 12th house is afflicted by Rahu, right, which is Rahu is unorthodox, which also says if she maintains the unorthodox relationship, it could actually benefit her.
Okay, I'll.
Sir, one last question, sir. One
last view, sir. I said that ninth house to be considered for a second marriage. Okay. I mean, here also that in ninth house, Ketu is there. So, I mean, that will sort of, spoil that house also. And the ninth lord is anyway in that already, there is an aspect of Mars over the ninth lord. So, and also an aspect of Saturn over the ninth lord. So, considering all this, is it correct, sir, first of all, to consider these points and say that ninth house also looks afflicted, and so the second marriage also can be somewhat troublesome?
Can we try to understand why people have been referring to the ninth as second marriage. Anybody wants to contribute some points? Why the ninth is considered as a second marriage?
So should I say?
Yeah.
Ninth is third from seventh.
Okay.
So seventh is your spouse. Ninth is the, see, in the olden times, even I mean, in case, I mean, if there is a, I mean, for some reason this the first marriage doesn't hold. I mean, I'm talking from a man's point of view, what they considered.
Okay, I'll give you a starting.
So
the wife passed away.
That will become the third house from seventh will become like a brat or a I mean sister of the I mean spouse. So that would they would even marry the sister to the first this man in case something happens to the first marriage. So that these are all some way of some written in some books, but that was why this ninth became like a second house to see the second marriage, like how seventh house is being seen as second child, third from the fifth. So ninth is seen as second spouse, third from the seventh.
Okay. Yeah, because until recently, or I think even nowadays also, it's still happening in some families. When the wife passes away, the same family will, offer the sister to so that the relationship continues. And in most cases, this was very common in India. And the other way also, in many cultures, if the man passes away in war or something, they'll get married to the brother. Okay, as a means of protection and so on. So that is the reason why the third from the ninth house is taken as the second marriage. But since that is not happening now, should we take it like that, or we don't know any proper way of finding what is the second marriage house? Because if you say only for marrying a brother or sister this works, then do we have a reference point for a second marriage? Or there is no way to figure it out. We only have to use maybe dasha and antardasha, or just the quality of the marriage is determined only by the seventh house, and whatever is there works for all the marriages in the same way. Or is it because horoscopes have changed, the matching has changed, and finally a new karma is an interactive interaction with the common points between the two horoscopes is working, and so fate has now been altered because the marriage has happened with someone else whose horoscope is totally different. Okay, we can look at it from all perspectives.
So
just one quick question, sir.
Yes.
Ninth lord is in seventh house, like aspected by Mars and Saturn, right, sir? Like, is this her father is also adding like more fuel to the existing marriage, or like is he not helping her out to settle down with the current marriage, sir?
No, they're all helpless. The man is the one who's troubling her, so they can't really, it's all under the law, the court, the custody of the child, all these problems. There's nothing specific about the father.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, just a question, sir. Does this person have no siblings, or lost a sibling, or has bad relationship with sibling, or the sibling has any health issues? Because the third house looks problematic from all the points. Just curious to know any information on that, sir.
I don't have that information right now with me, but anyway, it's being recorded. I will ask her and get back to you.
Okay.
Sir, in this situation, we generally see most of our discussion whenever we saw seventh lord in the sixth, we definitely observed a marriage related problem. Is it like one time karma, or like is it there for lifelong, or how do we answer whenever somebody approach? Because I have seen two charts. one person is having the same seventh lord in the sixth, and there is a lot of similar combination, sun in seventh. There was a long duration marriage problem. Couple were separated, like they were staying separately, but divorce didn't happen. There was a Jupiter aspect on the seventh lord, but still they are hanging in their marriage. Like still, even today they are together. But there is a marriage issue. Is like, there is a ego problem. A lot of things like fights happens often, but they're not separated. How do we differentiate? Like apart from stack, like as we know, that stack up is a key, and then how do we decide like once the fight is over or separated?
I've also met many people who had seventh lord in the sixth, but not just one rule seventh lord in the sixth, but in one more parameter. Maybe something else is also troubling the seventh lord. In which case, when divorce didn't happen, actually within the home they were divorced. They are sleeping in separate rooms. They're never living like man and wife. All that is very common.
Where that seventh lord in the sixth and no divorce happened is the classic chart is Kiran chart, sir. The husband and wife will work separately in two different places.
Or geographical separation.
Yeah. So that also made, I've seen 3 charts. One of our student also has this combination, but I don't want to mention. But the thing is, though the chart is a very clear indication for divorce, but it did not happen because geographically they are separated.
Okay. In that case, there is no need for a real divorce to happen, right? Because the condition is already satisfied. They are not together. That way, the marriage will also be saved, at least from the legal angle of things. Marriage can be saved.
Sir, I have a question about remedies, sir. I just wanted to know, sir, your opinion in terms of how much does remedies help and in which cases remedies do help, sir. Just a general question, sir.
We do not know what is the efficiency because we do not know the quantum of the sin committed in the past lives. By noticing that if there are too many things pointing out to the same thing, the level of affliction must be very high. In which case, remedies sometimes may not work, but then you cannot say don't try remedies, because remedies will alter your the way you think, and it will reverse a lot of negative karma. But we do not know whether there is sufficient time for you to clear up the mess that was created in the past. Only time will tell. Can't be very sure that always remedies work. If the problem, whatever the problem house is, has the aspect of Jupiter. In this case, we cannot even think that Jupiter himself is in trouble here. So there is no way. So it will become very difficult to change. But even then, it's like somebody is terminally ill, the doctors don't give up, right? They never give up.
Yes.
They always say, take this medicine, let's try this, that, whatever comes, they will try. Nobody is going to, just give up. So therefore, as a responsible astrologer, all of us should continue to give hope that let's try to change this, let's try to change. It's not a bluff, actually. It is based on logics of karma, that we created karma and only we can undo it. But the problem is you cannot undo it so quickly. It takes time. And people are disillusioned because they try for some days and then it doesn't, they don't see some changes and then they stop abruptly. Okay. So we don't have an answer. For example, in Maraka Dasha, Antardasha, when Maharshi himself says there is a possibility of death, and the next line he says, do Mahamrityunjaya. I have seen death happening even after Mrityunjaya. Okay.
Yes.
But sometimes nothing happens. And there were miracles also. So we don't have a one flat answer for it. There was a case where the person was, the doctors themselves made a statement that this person won't live long. It's all over. But they did all the puja and she was continuously chanting Mahamrityunjaya. And there was a lot of effort. They gave away some cow in charity. Many things happened. They did a lot of food distribution and so on. And then later, a miracle happened. The doctors are also surprised. But we cannot say for sure that it's the remedies that worked, or is it the doctors who helped. It's so difficult to pinpoint what might have, but by using common sense, we know, since the doctors themselves said there's no way the person will survive, and yet after the remedies, it worked. So another way of answering this question is, when the Maharishi, that is Maharishi Parashara, throughout Dashadhyaya gives a lot of remedies, even in Ashtavarga chapter also he gives a lot of remedies. If you ask the question, will remedies work? Then it's like questioning the authority. It's like questioning Maharishi Parashara. Like, do you think remedies will work? So I took that stance. I'll simply believe in them and continue to recommend it all the time.
But at the same time, there are some verses where he uses this word, sir, na samshaya.
Yeah, there is a period when it is so strong, the karma is so strong. For example, in Saturn Dasha and Mercury Antardasha, when Mercury is afflicted, he uses the term na samshaya. And I've seen disaster happening in Saturn Mercury when Mercury is afflicted. It's so perfect. So you know that there are some strong, unalterable karma also. But at the same time, we are not supposed to give up. We are, we have to tell people, we'll try. The best way.
You have the twins, no, sir, one of your clients, where one during the Maraka Dasha, one who did the remedy and the other who didn't do the remedy.
Yeah, I think you are referring to that girl and boy.
No, sir, the one who died in the hospital table with anesthesia.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That is one classic example where remedy worked and...
Okay, got it. Yeah. So there are several cases like that. But so therefore, it is better to believe the ancient masters who gave us the remedies. But the problem with remedies is nowadays it's become like a joke. We have remedies like you throw 5 pieces of silver into the river. These are things that is diluted because we do not know what is the karmic link to this. Is there a karma connected to this? Mahamrityunjaya is connected to Lord Shiva, and Shiva is the Lord of all these things. So there seems to be some logic. And especially after Gayatri, the second most powerful mantra is Mahamrityunjaya. We know that. So we are having a textbook to say something. There is an authority, the pramanam. So once we have that, why not follow it? There were times when I was also confused about remedies, but I never changed my opinion when it came to the client. So that as far as the client was concerned, even when I was in doubt with remedies, I never revealed it. I always said, just do this. This is what the Maharishi said. Now that is justice. So to astrology itself, because you cannot believe little bit of astrology from the book. I believe this portion and I don't believe that portion. We are not the authority to say that. We have to simply say we accept things as they are. But sometimes you can start thinking about what is the connection, and maybe in modern life you can try to adjust it a little bit, because if you see for 5th Lord and the 6th, the Maharishi says adopt a child, which is very difficult. Therefore, we have modified it conveniently to take care of orphan children. Because most of the time when children were born with autism problems or learning difficulties, we always saw 5th Lord is in the 6th house. I have repeatedly proven it. When parents come, they're only talking about their child who's having autism. And I'll say, one of you for sure has, your 5th Lord in the 6, 8 or 12, and maybe wherever it is one more time afflicted. Without that, this could not have happened. They'll say, no, I don't know astrology. I don't know how's my chart. I'll say, note down the point I'm saying. Later on, you just send a copy of your horoscope and I'll prove you. And they'll say, and then later it will get proven. They'll say, how do you know this? It's so easy to guess that. Okay, because you must have Putra Dosha to bring somebody like that into the family. Same way, this girl, when she was born as a baby, any good astrologer can say, you will go through this experience. But then we are preaching predeterminism, where the The soul has got no way to change the future. And one of the big things in life is where you really can't work against karma is marriage and health. These two places, it becomes extremely difficult to change because there's no way to guess how the man or wife the lady will be after marriage. During the time of love, courtship, romance, you have no clue at all. I know of couples where love lasted for 10 years, they got married, the next year divorce. Okay. In fact, I used to joke saying that you have been planning for this divorce from past life itself. You had something to do with past life. So you are eager not to let go, and someone managed to marry and only to be divorced in a year. Okay. Now, how can you explain that? But even while in love, they were always constantly fighting. That is the way to find out. But in arranged marriage, we have a little bit of advantage that horoscope matching can be done. But even in that, nowadays you see people altering time of birth and going through the marriage. Later, the spouse will find out, no, you gave the wrong date of birth. Yeah, that is because when I joined the school, this was the date of birth. And like that, they'll always try to justify it. So anyway, this horoscope is a typical example of troubled marriage. I promised the client that even beginners can find out that marriage is the weakest thing in your life. So unfortunately, you brought forward this bad karma from the past life. Please try to do as many marriages as possible. I think bit by bit, if you go through all the chat, you can understand that most of the people got it right in different ways. My only thing is that you didn't focus and converge all the rays to form the flame under the lens. So it was a little bit diluted here and there, but it is so much of the marriage problem. Usually when a divorce happens in a smooth way and people are free after divorce, you won't have so much afflicted seventh house. Only when trouble continues even after divorce, then only you will know that the seventh factors are so severely afflicted. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So we have few beginner students from the new batch also, sir, I guess. So
is it okay? Beginners may not understand, I think, but if they've done a beginner's course, they will understand certain things like seventh lord in the sixth with the sixth lord. Okay. The sixth house is the 12th from the seventh. This logic, even beginners class, we did, explain. But I think
our old students, any of our old students, sir, if they are having anybody who's interested, we can let them also know that the new batch is going to start.
Oh, okay. Coming month. Okay. That we will make a separate video, Manoj, to announce.
For our students, sir, whoever are there, old students, if some of their friends or relatives wanted to join, they can.
Okay. So we are announcing a new batch, a beginners batch in February. It will be weekly only once, like maybe Sundays, 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time. And we are planning to have one revision class after every 2 sessions. So this is a new format that we are coming up with to make it more interactive. Okay. So do we have, okay, the chat is all done, right? Okay. So we'll end the meeting here. Anybody else want to say anything when we are signing off?
Sir, I had one chart where is like very much similar to, but the chart is very interesting, but I'm not sure we have time now. Or I have already posted that in a chat actually.
Yeah, but now it's already we have gone so deep into this. So we will definitely take this up in some other. In the next week, I have a horoscope of a person. Once again, something where we can learn the seriousness of understand the seriousness of karma and horoscope and astrology. Because in a situation like we recently somebody uploaded on internet, on YouTube, that astrology is fraud. Just think about the repeatability here. Are we doing any single line reading like sun sign, or saying that, like simple things that he discussed in the video? I think you must have seen it, right? What's his name?
Yes, sir. We already discussed about that video in the chat also, in both Jyotisha. I think in the Jyotisha group chat, we already discussed about it.
Yeah. Okay. So the points that were said by him, they're actually good points. Actually, I would admit that they're good points. They're good points because it reveals that we should not practice such things in astrology. That's all. Okay. That's a complaint. For example, the sun sign itself is not what the sun sign is, right? For example, wherever your sun is in Western chart, it won't be there in the Indian chart, what we call as the sidereal. Okay. It'll always be minus so many degrees, right? Which is a complaint. So scientific community says, no, your sun is not there. You do not know the sun is backwards. And then you tell them, no, we know it already that the sun is not there. So don't waste time on character analysis, making general statements. Always make statements that are so valid with astrological reasoning and proof. So when you say, I made a video long time back that planets don't control us at all, and people never understood what I meant. It is just that planets are not the cause of karma. Only karma is the cause of karma. There's nothing else. Whatever actions and thoughts that you had in the past life is what is causing karma. Planets are not causing. So he is complaining that planets are not causing. I'm also with him saying, no, planets are not causing. So whatever he says, I'm also with him. Okay. But same thing I've been complaining about the Barnum effect statements. So general. I used to make fun when I was reading sun sign book. I used to refer to some other sun sign and read the pages. And the person opposite to me will say, wow, it fits in so perfectly. Then I tell them, show the book and say, I was reading the wrong sun sign. You see, even though I was an astrologer, I was making fun of these things. So there are many astrologers who make general statements. We need to understand the logics behind it. And so much of rules, so many books, so many authors. How can it be fraud? How can something fraud have so many books, so many authors, so many researchers? He doesn't know all that. Poor thing. Okay. And those who watch the video, I think already it has crossed 5 million views. The 5 million people or 10 million people or 100 million people, they're not going to understand what astrology is. What astrology is so serious. If you go through charts, you can actually find out everything. There is nothing that can come anywhere near astrology. Okay. Anyway, I was shocked when as soon as I put the chart, Manoj immediately said something about marriage. Okay. But then I purposely, I didn't give any clue. Then it went off into some other tangent. Okay, if we do stack up, I think we'll always get very good results in astrology. But is stack up the only way? No. You can look at timing marriage, when the divorce happened, when the marriage happened, when children were born, Saptamsa. So beautifully it works. Okay. And that is the thrill of astrology, that you can say a lot of things, so much accuracy. Okay. So in divisional chart, suppose you see a lagna in which the lagna lord itself is sitting, and let's say it is a Navamsha lagna. Surely the marriage will be connected to that Antardasha, because it is not just in lagna, but in its own sign, Swakshetra. So many years back, I remember this, somebody had come to my office, he was disturbing the receptionist, saying, this is my horoscope, can you say something about it for free? And as I just entered the room, I just saw the horoscope, looked at his dasha and said, you got married in this particular year. He said, how quickly you're saying that? It is exactly in that year I got married. Can you teach me how you said this? And then I went off into my consultation room. Okay. The thing is, what is the chance of saying a year in your life like that? Exactly the only that bhukti alone would have given you marriage. It is just because I was lucky to see a pattern in the horoscope. So when you see something like this, 7th Lord in the 6th with the 6th Lord with Lagna Lord in the 6th, you don't have to look anywhere. 100, 500, 1000%, it has to be a divorce. That's all. Okay. So there was a mix of all kinds of students here. So we'll catch up again next week.